Here lay an empty space. An actor walks across this space, and you, the audience, shall bear witness to his words. And that's all it takes to engage in an act of theatre. Yikes. I'm not that smart. This is how Mr. Robert Brooks describes theatre to be. Now I know you're all thinking it, and I too did think about it when I was given the opportunity. What is a dentist doing talking about theatre? Well, now as obscure and insignificant might my profession sound in relation to theatre, I believe theatre is something that impacts us. Because in our minds, theatre is synonymous with grand performances and elaborate sets and the mystery behind the curtain. But I believe at its core, it's something so simple. It lies simply in its storytelling abilities. Lies so simple that we as a human species have an innate need to hear stories, to share your own story, and to above all live through your own stories. So, well, this space did teach me a lot about my life, and I believe I'd like to share a little piece of myself. So my story starts when I was about 9 years of age, when I was cast in Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book as a baby elephant. How apt. Here I am, you can see me, caked in grey face paint and a somewhat resemblance of an elephant, I guess. Well, behind this face, now just remembering this is the first time I was going on stage. I had never been on stage. I had not even spoken to about 10 people in my lifetime. So giving a speech, let alone going on stage and, pouring my heart out into a character, it was something so foreign. And so this is me in this costume backstage with my ensemble of elephants. We're all about to go on. And we hear our cue. I'm about to lose it. I'm regretting why I even, agreed to do this. But somehow I hear my cue. I pull myself and we go on. We trundle on to the whole ensemble of elephants. We all go on stage. And as I face towards the audience, the lights, absolutely bright, blinded me. Couldn't see anyone in the audience. Just I can't see any one of you right now. The light is just blinding me. Exactly the same. And what lay ahead of me was this vacuum of empty darkness, and it just made me absolutely comfortable. It made me realize that this is now my space, and this will be my story, and I will tell my story through this space. And as I later on in my life, I realized me pulling myself together, even though in those moments I was so scared and vulnerable, anxious, and I realized that me getting the courage was the word. I had somehow mustered up courage to go on stage. And this is what the space taught me first. Now, what is courage? I never understood what courage was, basically. All it meant to me was something you do when you're afraid. But it wasn't enough. And I found this book. It's called The Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. Beautiful book. I absolutely recommend you read this book. And in this, she describes this concept of courage so beautifully. And I'd like to read a few passages from this book. So firstly, she describes courage as courage requires the willingness to lean into uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. And then she goes on to say that vulnerability is the emotion we experience during times of uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Which brings into existence this beautiful phrase called, there is no courage without vulnerability. You're backstage, you're about to go on, you're absolutely losing your mind, you still muster up your courage to go on Because it is through this vulnerability, you're on the stage, just bare and vulnerable, and through this vulnerability, do you feast on it? And through this vulnerability, do you grow and do you muster up the courage? So what I mean to say is show up. Show up to your call to audition. Show up on this stage. Show up to those conversations that you're afraid of. Because you show up and you do it anyways. Because treading the unknown opens paths we never knew existed inside of us. You show up to this TED Talk, even though you were having a nervous breakdown just there. Now, moving on, you show up. That's what I mean to say. You show up and you take it from there. Now, about a couple of years ago, when I was in my second year of college in Spain, this was around December. So this was around 2021, when COVID was in full swing. And I remember I couldn't come back home because the borders had closed, and December meant Christmas for me and my family. And this was the first time I'd be away from home, basically. And as I remembered during that time, I saw everyone and their families cooped up together, celebrating the love, basically cheer and joy of Christmas. And I was all alone. I had nothing much to do. And I was just on social media. I was looking through my phone, and I saw that the town had put up a Christmas play that they used to do it annually. It was on the birth of Christ. And I found out it was free. So me being a broke student, having nothing better to do, I went. Now, full disclosure, the entire thing was in Spanish. I didn't understand a single word they said. But all I saw was that this was this amazing set with a full orchestra, with a choir flanking the stage. And I couldn't understand anything, yet there was this moment throughout this entire production wherein towards the end, the entire choir suddenly swelled up into this crescendo, and everyone was starting to go crazy, clapping at the production. And I was just sat there, no words to say. I had no idea what was happening, yet somehow I was feeling it was impacting me in a certain way that I wasn't impacted before. And I had no words, but I believe this scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia just basically describes what I felt in that moment. So yes, that was it. I was absolutely awestruck. I had no words. Here I was in a foreign land, uneducated in their language, yet this production had shaken me to my core. And it is in that moment I realized the impact theatre can have on us, theatre can have on our lives. Now, unlike cinema, theatre is real. You don't have the protection of a screen or a camera. It is happening right in front of you. This is the point of theatre. It leaves you with something so unique and so raw, but at the same time, reminding us that deep down, we're all seeking to be heard, to be understood, to be connected. And this reminds us to also be present, to engage with the moment, with others, and ourselves. And this is the point of theatre. Theatre helps us cultivate meaningful human connections. Now, this meaningful human connection cannot be born without the others we have in our lives. Just like this theatre production that you see, just to give an example. You have this actor come on stage. He comes on stage blank. He has nothing to say without the written word. He goes off stage. He comes back on with the written word, but now the audience can't hear you. The sound guy left. All right. The actor then comes back on with the written word, the audience fully able to hear you now. But the light guy decided not to show up, so you can't even see him. Basically, what I mean to say is, just like theatre, our lives are impossible without the silent voices, the silent hands that mold you as an individual. Because there's an entire village behind you. You did not come into this world alone, as much as you would like to think about it. Your mothers were there. And just like your mothers were there, your friends are there. And just like theatre, it shows us how teamwork is absolutely important. It takes an entire village, because we are not just ourselves. There's something bigger at work here than only oneself. That's when we need to know to find our people. To need to know that you won't go through it alone. That's when you need to know to ask others to say, I need you on my team. And that is what theatre teaches us. Because alone can we only travel so far. Well, that has been it. A little peek into this story of mine. And upon benediction, I just wanted to share that this was how I made sense of my time on this world. You come onto this stage, a blank canvas, the audience waiting to paint you all bare and rough and tear you apart. And in the beginning, it might be a bit scary, but then you come on stage and you get this comforting feeling of warmth as you start delivering your dialogues. And then you start enjoying yourselves. So that is the point. Our times on this planet is so beautifully limited. So be courageous. Be vulnerable. Do the things that absolutely scare you, because we're all each given a tiny ember to nurture. And this passion of youth only burns too long. So that has been it. You then now see that your act is about to come to an end, and you come onto this stage for one last time, and you see it. The audience crescendoing in an applause, and you see that it must have all been worth it. How beautiful your story must have been. And as the curtain finally falls, you get a moment of silence, a moment of reflection, a moment of gratitude, as if to say, thank you. Thank you very much, my beautiful audience.